that soul contract of us creating this and doing this together side by side and nothing else has expired. And it's not that StyleLikeU has expired. It's just that the nature of the way that we've done this has expired.
But I also just want to say that, like, you've never said that to me, like, in that way. And it like rings true, but it's like very emotional because, like, oh, now I'm going to cry. Welcome to Don't Change a Thing, the show where we own the things that we were made to feel were wrong about us and transform them into our superpowers. We're Elisa and Lily, the mother-daughter creators of StyleLikeU. After interviewing hundreds of trailblazing individuals for our series What's Underneath, we've been inspired to join the conversation. Each episode will have radically honest conversations with our guests, who will share their inspiring journeys to self-acceptance, self-expression, and shedding shame.
What would the world look like if everyone was told from the moment they were born, don't change a thing? What a different world that would be.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Will.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. You just got back to LA from New York, didn't you?
Yes, last night. Got back last night.
Are you jet lagged?
I feel slightly discombobulated, but not too bad. I'm getting used to the back and forth, actually, and I'm fine with it. Yeah, a little off, a little jet lagged, but not too bad. I woke up early, which was good.
I know. I got a bunch of texts from you approximately 6 a.m. I don't look at them till I'm a deep sleeper, so they don't wake me. But I always observe what time they came in to see kind of, oh wow, she was up early today, like, or what part of her routine did they come during? Because I'm so attuned to your morning regimen.
That makes me a little self-conscious.
No, it's cute. You're just a predictable lady.
What do you mean by that? I don't like the term lady.
Okay, but anyway, you're predictable and it's adorable because you have your morning routine and it's very impressive, and I think actually people should hear about it.
I try to not do anything else and go right into meditation because you're still in your alpha state, which means you're in a brainwave state that is more plastic and you can affect, your neuroplasticity and make changes inside easier. So I try not to look at a phone or do anything. I just go immediately into the meditation. And it's about 20 to 25 minutes of a Joe Dispenza meditation that I listen to and I particularly love.
Okay, but it used to be an hour, so you've cut it down?
Yes, and then I do
and then she prays.
Yeah, for about 10 more minutes.
For every single person she's literally like ever met or animal. It's in the list of the people that she and things and beings that this woman prays for. It's actually incredible.
I really believe in it. And I really believe in the power of meditation. The reason I do it is to connect to love, is to open my heart. The thing that I think keeps me the most looking the best and feeling the most youthful and excited about life and forever sort of feeling like there's so much ahead and there's so much I want to do, it's meditation and prayer and connecting to love. Like that's the biggest thing for me. I think that's the fountain of youth.
I'm going to be aging ungracefully then if I keep my current habits.
No, but that's just for me. And it took me a long time. I didn't do it when I was your age either. I had no idea.
Okay, we were talking about your morning routine. So then she goes on, so she meditates, she prays, she then texts, loving text to people.
Connect to the love and then pray.
And always if we've had an argument the night before, there's a loving text the next morning after this has happened. Right? Am I right? You like reconnect to the love and then you're like, I'm going to send a loving text.
Wait a minute.
That's nice.
I'm not really sure that I agree with this assessment.
I'm not saying it critically. I say it's very endearing and sweet. Okay, wait, let's circle back. Let's keep going.
Okay.
And then she walks her 3 chihuahuas for like 45 minutes. which she does not consider the main event of her exercise. At which point then she 2 days a week bike rides for 10, 15 miles.
16, 17 miles on the weekdays.
And then like 20 on the weekends or something.
22.
And then or she swims a mile in a like lap pool
Mm-hmm.
3 other days a week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes 1 day off.
2.
Oh, okay, 2 days off. I'm outdated. And then it's the morning, the getting dressed ritual, which is quick but important.
These days, Lily is not totally up to date, and that is it is relative a little bit to our general overall situation in life, which we will get to. But you're a little outdated on my routine.
I really like my morning routine too, but it's not quite as elaborate.
What is your morning routine?
Well, I wake up at like in between 7 and 8. I walk Matcha, my Chihuahua, to the coffee shop. At which point I try to not look at my phone until I've gotten had my first sip of the coffee, but it doesn't always happen. Then I either go on like a big hike with her, like from my neighborhood in Highland Park in LA up into Mount Washington and back, and that's like an hour and a half like loop. I either do that like a few mornings a week, or I walk her just for like a little bit and then do my Peloton, which I'm obsessed with. And
that's like a new thing,
it.
right?
And then I get dressed. Yeah. And then I make my breakfast.
Wait, so what
the
Peloton is like a new ad, right? Like a new.
The Peloton is a discovery of this year that I'm fully obsessed with.
Why?
Yeah. For me, I really like the structure. I think I'm such a self-starter in like other parts of my life that I think that in like the exercise, I like to be just like relax and be told what to do and not have to think or like push myself. So, I mean, I do push myself, but under their guidance. So I'm obsessed with the Peloton, and the fact that it's just like in my house and I have like a million classes that I have access to at any time is thrilling for me. But so yeah, there's like only 2 steps to my morning routine compared to your like 4 or 5. Okay, so before we go into more of what's been going on for each of us personally and our journey with each other, Mom, do you want to talk about your outfit today and what you're wearing?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It just I'm in I'm making a big shift into a more kind of masculine mask. I'm just
Androgynous?
into like more tailored clothing right now, and I'm pulling out all of these old things that I've had forever, and I'm so glad I haven't gotten rid of them. Like, I've gotten rid of so much that I regret, but there's just some things I just never have. There's just certain things that they just stay, and a lot of what I'm wearing are those things. And let me tell you, at my age, it's a long period of time that you're not giving things away, like very long. It's very weird. So this vest is it's a vintage man's vest of some kind that I've had for really, I don't even know. As long as I've had these joggers. Oops. Anyway, I'm loving all of my joggers again, and I've kept them all. They're just riding pants. That's it. And I don't ride. I have lots of riding pants, and I love them. And both of these things I've had for a very, very, I mean, like, I don't know, 30 years more. I've had them, and I'm so happy that I've kept them.
Did you just bring that back from New York?
I'm starting to bring a lot back from New York, because also black. I haven't been wearing black for like 15 years since we started StyleLikeU, and now I like black again. So I'm bringing much more back from New York to LA and my old self somehow is coming back into this picture, the pre-StyleLikeU self. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then socks. Socks and shoes
if you're just listening to this, my mom is giddily raising her foot to the screen to show you her sparkly Gucci socks.
Yeah, my sparkly silver. So, yeah, I mean, I did a whole favorite things about this. Like she did.
There's a whole episode on our YouTube channel of my mom and her obsession with this particular sock.
Yeah, so everything is really old and falling apart, and I've had forever. But the thing that makes, for me, everything is the shoe and the sock, which that's the one thing about the virtual podcast that's a little bit of a buffer. because the shoe and the sock is what makes everything modern and different and new. Yeah. So the Gucci sparkly silver socks.
Since there's no full body shot, she will be lifting her foot in every episode of this
Yeah,
podcast to show you her socks.
And the brogue, the men's style brogue shoe. It always starts with the shoe for me. Once I have the shoe, then everything else. I wear the same thing.
This is a way in which we're very different. A lot of things that you just said are so different. I
want to hear.
If it has a rip or a hole or no, it's not being worn. It's toast. It's not. I want things to feel like crisp and clean. And the shoe thing for me is also like very after facty. Now I appreciate having like nice shoes that are special and whatever, but they're not the center. They're not what things are getting built around. They're what is complementing the outfit. It's always a color thing too for me because I really like color blocking. So it's just like, okay, what color of the shoe? Like right now I'm doing a whole thing with I'm wearing a white corduroy like suit kind of like where the top and the bottom match. So I really like matching colors. But then I'm doing pops of red. I can't ever not have a pop of color. I used to wear like, I lead usually with the color, like the main piece of the outfit is the colorful thing. But now I'm doing more where like the main outfit is like a cream or a brown or a black. And then I do a pop of color in the lip and the scrunchie. So now I have my pop of color right now is I'm having red. Well, M is blue, I guess, like complement the white. So I have red lips, red scrunchie, and my sock is red. And my shoe.
Socks are big for you, like me.
I like socks. Yeah, I mean, I like shoes and socks. It just doesn't start there.
Socks make a big difference. Socks are important.
But yeah, I guess our personalities are pretty different when it comes to like you with the layers and the messy and me. I think my like control and perfectionistic tendencies maybe come out in my more like clean cut or like simple and clean and new looking current aesthetic. I don't know.
I have the rock and roll thing in me.
That's I don't have like rock and roll. My mom's a rebel rock and roll, and I'm a boring goody two shoes. So, Mom, we are here for another season of Don't Change a Thing, our podcast, and we decided that to kick off season 2 of our podcast, we would do an episode just featuring the two of us, me and my mom having a conversation, and also to give you a little bit of a preview at what to expect for the new season of the show. The content itself is staying completely the same. There's going to be incredible episodes of Don't Change a Thing, but there have been some like pretty big internal changes and shifts going on between me and my mom. And as individuals, growing pains, as you might call them, or growing up. And we wanted to share that because we've always felt like it's important to be authentic with you all the way we ask our guests to be authentic about the messy journeys of being true to themselves. So we have decided to do this episode to share a little bit more with you all about our messy journey, aligning and being true to ourselves.
So this season, we are going to be doing the podcast virtually, and we're very excited about that and the possibility of interviewing people wherever they are, all these people that we've admired from afar for a very long time. And it was an amazing moment when we realized, yes, we can actually just do that, and we don't have to necessarily figure out how to get to them or how they're going to get to us, and we can just finally bring to you all of these very expansive people and bring the heartfelt conversation that we love to have with them to all of you virtually. So that's going to be all in the second season of our podcast, which we're very excited about. And in addition, I'm going to be leading the conversations, for the podcast. Lily will be joining here and there, but we are Like all things in life, there are a lot of changes going on. We change, we grow, we have different interests. We have moments where we want to explore and do things where we're apart. And this is just one of those moments with the podcast. Ironically, the podcast is called Don't Change a Thing, which really means that when you are true to yourself and when you do not betray yourself and when you honor the very core of who you are, you don't change a thing about the core of who you are, then what comes out of that is enormous growth and constant growth and stepping into your biggest fears and recognizing and realizing that this life is very precious and you are here to explore and be all aspects of yourself and not stay small. And that what that entails is a lot of changing and coming together with people, growing away from people, and all of those things that are needed that mix into the whole soup of growth and change and, all the peripheral things that happen when you step into your alignment, as Lily is doing, and we're going to explain that, and as I am doing, being the main host of the virtual podcast. So even though the format of the podcast is changing in terms of being virtual now, it's going to be aligned with all of the other work that we always do in terms of having a open and heartfelt conversation with our guests. And I think the real ultimate excitement for me about that is they're showing their truth and the bravery to be themselves, and that they've had these struggles that have made them who they are, empowers others to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is really the secret sauce to really creating a different world and a better world. The more whole we are in ourselves, the more whole we are as a society. And understanding the power of your choices for the world at large is also something that's internal. It's the same thing that you need to do as a person in order to grow and to give all of the gifts that you're supposed to give to the world and not dim those or betray those in any way, because that's what you're here for. So that brings us to a lot of the change that's happening between Lily and me right now in terms of our relationship with working together for 15 years. So we wanted to share some of that with you all right now because, I don't know, it's cathartic to share, and hopefully it's cathartic for you to listen. So Lily, do you want to start with just talking a little bit about where you're at and what are some of the things what are the changes that you're making and why?
Well, yeah, so as my mom just mentioned, we've been doing Style Like You together for 15 years in one form or another, whether it was, we started Style Like You when I was a freshman in college. I was 19. Creating Style Like You has raised me, has been like the best education of my life, has completely transformed me from the inside out. And I'm 35 now, which is crazy. Yeah, I just think I'm going through a phase that I didn't quite see coming, of sort of like adulting and individuating on another level. And it's creating like some shifts between me and my mom personally and professionally that like are really natural and I think like healthy and great, but also weird because we've been on this journey completely like in unison 100% with the same, we've shared the same vision for Style Like You and the same commitment to show up, every day together to achieve that vision for 15 years. And that that is slightly shifting in just, because I'm starting to explore some other like professional goals that I have outside of Style Like You. Yeah, it's a big change for the two of us, for that to be happening, for us to not be working together 24/7, or to still we still completely share the same like vision for this community and for what we're and the mission of it and everything, but we personally have slightly different goals and are realizing that we have slightly different talents, slightly different like ways that we want to express ourselves, slightly different ways that we want to like slightly different parts of ourselves that we want to exercise and foster right now. And it's creating us to like within Style Like You and then outside of Style Like You kind of distinguish ourselves from one another a little bit more than maybe we have in the past. And now I have some dreams outside of Style Like You that are new and nascent and burgeoning, and it's vulnerable and weird and yeah, just I feel like a little baby bird in other parts of me are emerging that I haven't met before. One of the examples of this change is like my mom's realizing that she really values like sharing and talking and like in our interviews and stuff and that's part of why we're like leaning into her mostly hosting the podcast moving forward on her own as like a stepping into her like authentic power and passion and like individuality, I guess, right? Where I'm leaning into some of my other dreams, which are I'm really excited about the prospect of creating documentary films and directing documentaries within Style Like You and also outside of Style Like You. And so we're just not doing everything 100% together where we were before.
I feel like there was a soul contract that has expired. Something happened. Like we've always said, like, how did this even happen? Like you were starting college and I was in my early 50s and we had this idea and we just started to do it. And then it just took off and had this huge life of its own. And we've been swept up into this beautiful, incredible experience. And we've been so lucky and so privileged and so honored to have been able to make an impact in the world. I know that we both feel so deeply, deeply grateful and honored for that experience. People are always like, oh my God, what is it like to work together? What is it like to work together? We could answer that in a million different ways in a million different times. But overall, it's, something that neither one of us would trade in. And it's been we're so honored by the whole entire experience. But I think in a way, that soul contract of us creating this and doing this together side by side and nothing else and being so, almost tight around it, has expired. And it's not that Style Like You has expired. It's just that the nature of the way that we've done this and coming from our less evolved places also, it's difficult.
But I also just want to say that, like, it made me, when you said the thing about the soul contract, like, expiring, like, I got teary inside just because, like, I don't know. You've never said that to me, like, in that way. And it, like, rings true, but it's, like, very emotional because, like, oh, now I'm going to cry. Bleh. Yeah, it just rings true as far as like it felt like we were just like we were just in this like rocket ship together and everything, we were just like connected in this like completely like unspeakable like way where there was like nothing between us or I don't know, nothing. Like we probably didn't even realize as it was happening like how like magical and special it was to have that like complete shared mission and vision of life and to be in this like vortex together.
It was one of the first times in my life that I understood like why I was born, like literally doing Style Like You. I was like, okay, this is why I've had to be who I am and feel like the misfit and outcast and, in misstep so often with so much in life. It all made sense once it happened, but I could never have done it without you. And it's healed both of us. We've healed ourselves together. And a lot of the things that needed healing, this is a big one. A lot of the things that needed healing were lineage and things that we both were, I believe, came here to do together, and somehow how that intersected with so many problems of the world, how that all intersected is just it's unspeakable. Like I'm literally on my hands and knees, like in gratitude for that, how that ever happened. And in so many ways we have healed ourselves and we're ready to move on. Both just sheer age, just sheer biological things, hormonal things, age, stages of life, all these things that, play into it. It's all like everything. It's all one big organic soup and it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
We're just in this new phase now. It's a new beginning.
Mm-hmm. And figuring out.
And an ending. So there's a lot of grief. There's a tremendous amount of grief. And you're crying now. I was crying on the plane last night.
There's something cathartic about hearing you say that, because maybe like there's I feel like I want to like maybe like grieve that in an even more like active like way. Like, I don't know, the way you said it with such finality. Like, obviously StyleLikeU's continuing and we have so many projects ahead, but something between us is different and like a certain way
which is going to make the new things even better. It's not going to affect the audience in anything but I think a positive way.
Totally.
And I think our honesty around it speaks to that. Like we, that is our brand. So there's absolutely nothing to hide. Change is part of life, and it's positive. It can have grief, and it can have it can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that it's not good. I really do, in my heart of hearts, believe that this is also a really good thing for me, and for my voice, for my being kind of a little more chaotic, spontaneous. A lot of good has come out of that, and sometimes you can stifle that a little bit in me. Not that you still won't be doing it, because you will be, and we'll be working together.
I'll still be stifling you just enough.
Yeah, you'll be stifling me just enough. And also my passion is for me to step into my voice more, which is one of the reasons why I have such a burning desire to do this podcast and to be speaking and being able to express myself more, and not being cut out of the videos as in our other shows. We are cut out. So that's one of the reasons why I love doing this, and I'm really, really just so thrilled to be doing it and so grateful to be doing it. And then also I have a very big burning desire to become more connected to the community and to develop the community, to have in-person live events. But for me, this is a very big deal, and very front and center for me is the community and all of you, and just wanting to know you better, connect to you more. And it's something that I would like to be doing on a regular basis. So between doing that with the podcast and doing that with actual community events and in all different ways, I am excited. And this is all, pushing me and pushing me out of my comfort zone. We're really ultimately feel that we're growing up, and StyleLikeU is growing up into bigger and better and even more exciting versions of itself. And that's what these changes are. And so we would just be so honored to answer any of your questions, should you be interested in any more information.
And we're both big feelers. We're both 96% feeling on the Myers-Briggs personality test, which makes us feel little changes in very big ways. And so what is actually at the end of the day just us slightly shifting our relationship to each other and our working relationship into StyleLikeU. We feel a lot of things about it, but ultimately all it really means is that you'll see my mom hosting the podcast a little bit more than me, and I'll come sometimes.
Yeah, right. And actually, this has been so great, and I kind of miss your voice and your presence now that we're doing this, that we're going to have to, I think, be doing this regularly,
I'm going to come.
The two of us together.
I'll be
and continue the two of us doing this together, I think.
Yeah, we can keep checking in on how it's all going.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you all for listening. Hope it was interesting in some way, or helpful. And so just stay tuned, because next week marks the first of my mom stepping out on her own 2 feet to host the podcast with an incredible first guest that she told me all about. And now I'm having FOMO that I missed that conversation, but it's okay because growth.
Love you all. Thank you so much for being here.